Hi everyone, Bill Badden with Badden Tech Solutions, and welcome to our vlog series. And today's vlog session is about backups. Now, what sparked this topic is what happened in the past few weeks. We've noticed quite a few issues in regards to backups, and of course, backups not being done. So, to kind of give you an example, one actually started with a website. Yes, a website. So, we came across a business who was asking for advice and where to go next, and then basically they laid out this scenario. This basically happened. They have been in business for 10 years. They had a website designed and really well designed. It's actually was a great marketing tool. Business was actually rolling from it. Sales was rolling from it. And after 10 years, so just recently, they noticed that their website's not up. And after finding out what's going on, they found out that their domain was expired. So they finally found who was currently hosting the domain, renewed the domain, and asked that host provider to go ahead and put the site back up. Now, fortunately, that particular host did not have the site's backup. And so they basically were at a loss. They went through multiple support issue calls and trying to find a way to get the site back up and running, but nothing could be done. They have asked if the developer had a backup of it. They asked if the designer might have a backup of it. Nothing was kept. So the customer, the business, actually was at a loss and a struggle and needed to find out other options. Now, at this point, since they didn't have any backups, their domain is live, but right now it's unavailable. Their only option is to do a complete redesign. So they have to go ahead and spend the investment in a remodel and rebuild of a website. Now, they're going to make sure that there's backups available for that, of course. So that's one scenario to keep in mind. If you have a website, make sure it's being backed up. If you don't know how that's done, find out through your host provider, then find out through your developer, find out through whoever designed and developed your website if they took care of that. The assumptions were made that someone was taking care of that, so the business obviously was continuing to do what they do best, and they stayed consistent with content changes and all that, but they just assumed that someone else was managing it for them, and that assumption unfortunately fell through. No backups were done. So that's one scenario that unfortunately happened to a business. Now, another one that has been happening for quite a long time for multiple businesses is virus attacks. Now, the specific one that has been hitting the roof is the crypto-locker virus. Now, we've run into businesses that have actually have been affected by this virus and who unfortunately don't have a backup of their system. They don't have a backup of their files, they don't have a backup of the actual workstation, or if not the server that's been infected. So we've come across that. So this particular virus, if you're not familiar with it, actually encrypts all your files and basically holds them from ransom. So they'll give you the encryption code to unlock it if you pay the ransom. And then you may be attacked again, unfortunately. Now, the only way to get rid of a virus like that without pain is to completely wipe the system and start fresh. Now, there are scanners that are now updating their side to hopefully prevent the virus to come in your system, but that's not even a guarantee. Someone somehow will still allow that virus to get into the system and infect all the files. Now, this virus also infects files not on just your local system, workstation, laptop, or server. It also infects files through Dropbox as well. So if you're sharing folders, sharing anything like that with other organizations or individuals, they could be at risk, high risk from this virus. So that's something just to be aware about. But at the same time, if that happens and if you don't have those files backed up, to try to get those recovered is almost impossible without paying this ransom. So we've had businesses go that route. We've seen them say, you know what, we don't care. We need our information back. And that's happened. And it's not a small price. It is a hefty price to look at. So that's one thing you want to keep in mind. So if you don't have a backup system, put one in place. Now, there's multiple options for backups. For cloud-based options, there's Carbonite, there's Mozy Pro, there's CrashPlan, all great options for businesses. We actually have backup options locally and have redundancy there. You want to make sure that there's redundancy, and that's definitely priority at one. And priority two is how easy is it to recover files. As cloud options, you have that as local options. Local being that if you want to back up in your office, like an external hard drive or whatnot, you need the software to actually do that. And the best software that we found that actually makes it simple to create a backup and actually restore it is Acronis. Acronis actually creates an image, a snapshot of your system, and backs it up onto the external device locally. So that way you do have a local area, and we do recommend having an offsite option. That's where the cloud option comes in. That's internet-based, and most of those vendors, those software options are very up to date with encryption and services and redundancy. Now, once you choose a cloud backup, and it's installed and you're ready, don't stop there. You want to actually make sure you test it out. You want to make sure that you can recover files easily, and do that quarterly, and you build a rhythm. And then if you're comfortable, go ahead and do it every 6 months. But no matter what, make sure you have that backup practice, that scenario every so often, and verify that it does work. So that's one thing you want to keep in mind, that once you have it in place, don't assume that it's just working. So you want to make sure you practice and test it out. So that is our topic for backups. We want to make sure you're aware of all the different things we hear and our kind of thought process behind the scenes, and how hopefully this can help you move forward with any backup issues that you're running into. But if you have any questions, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to our channel here and follow us. But we're looking forward to another vlog series, another session. My name is Bill Badger again. Thank you, and have a great time.